All right, so we call today Follow-Up Thursday. And in this case right here, it was a woman that was about to get married, but she was like, gosh, I still kind of have feelings for my ex. Let me go check it out. And I think she flew to go see this guy. It was requested by Suzanne Adair. And she says, we need an update from the girl whose friend was getting married but flew to meet an ex for quote-unquote closure, even though the caller didn't give her a ride to the airport. Yeah, this one was layered, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so Francesca's best friend was 2 weeks away from getting married, but she wanted to have one last talk with her ex. She had no plans on calling him to talk. Instead, she was flying out to see him for quote-unquote closure. She asked Francesca to give her a ride to the airport and to lie to her fiancé about the trip. Francesca didn't want to be part of the drama, so she used the excuse that her car wasn't working. Last we heard, Francesca's friend still made her flight. She tried to convince her not to do something she was going to regret, but the speech didn't work, and Francesca also felt weird about being the maid of honor after all this and knowing this. So, did her friend go through with the wedding? Was Francesca still a part of the wedding, or did all of it fall apart?
When she returned, she was sort of vague about the whole thing. She didn't share too many details, which was probably for the best. I gather that she and her ex had a long talk, probably discussed old memories, and closed the chapter on whatever was left unsaid.
That can mean a lot of things. And things that were said and unsaid. One last something.
She seemed relieved. Hard to put a word to it, but there was a sort of calmness about her after she returned. I bet. I was worried about her decision, but after seeing her post-trip, I felt a bit more at ease. Not that it made me entirely comfortable with the situation, but she seemed to have resolved whatever she felt needed resolving. All that said, I was uncomfortable about one thing. She showed me a picture of the two of them. It was a selfie that they took together. They were at a restaurant, and from what was on the table, it looked like breakfast or brunch. They both had that look where they had just woken up and threw on some clothes with a hat and ponytail. I didn't ask her much about it because I really didn't want to know. However, it gave me the impression that they had both woken up together. I could be totally wrong.
I mean, that is a big assumption.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it that big an assumption?
Okay.
Hat, ponytail, brunch.
Okay. We all know what that means, Kristen.
I mean, she's flying there to go reconnect with her ex one last time. Is it that much of a leap of faith to think they hooked up?
Maybe it's not a huge assumption, but it is still an assumption nonetheless.
If we were in court, it would be circumstantial.
Very
for sure.
circumstantial.
However, I feel like if they had slept at two different places, she would have cleaned herself up a bit more.
They went right downstairs from the hotel
before going to meet him for brunch.
So what you're saying is they woke up together. They were both disheveled. So what's the point of making an effort to look nice for each other when you've already seen each other looking spent from the night before?
Yeah, rolling over and saying to somebody, hey, you want to go grab breakfast is very different than, hey, let's meet at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning for breakfast. Because what she's assuming here is if you make arrangements, she's getting up at 7, she's getting herself all ready. She's not going to look like that at 8.
Okay, but maybe they just stayed up way late talking because she wanted to talk.
Yeah.
Right.
And, fell asleep.
Or maybe she remembered she was getting married and didn't need to put effort in how she looked.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wedding next week.
Right. And maybe you live in La La Land.
It's lovely. Come join me.
In the end, her visit to her ex didn't seem to change anything about her feelings to get married. It was almost as if she needed that last reassurance that she was moving in the right direction.
Is that what we're calling it now?
Reassurance.
Yeah, I'm feeling like I need some reassurance today.
It's still a bit of a strange situation for me to digest, but we all have our ways of dealing with things, I guess. The wedding was beautiful, and I did fulfill my role as maid of honor. And as far as I know, all is well with the newlyweds.
Girl, you take that to your grave.
Right, Abby, if you had to make a percentage prediction on this marriage lasting, it would be what percentage?
Well, if it's based off of the rest of the country, probably about 50-50. And since she went to go see her ex before, I'm going to up it to 60-40.
All right, 60-40. Yumo.
30%.
30%.
I'm going to say 60% chance of making it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So long as she keeps going to see the ex.
No,
She's going to get
Get
reassurance.
a little bit of that reassurance.
that's what I'm saying. She got the reassurance she needed that this was the right one for her. So I'm going to actually give them a little bump in the survival rate.
Okay. Watch her fly back to that city and get reassurances a couple times a year.
I love this city.
It's the best. Why did I ever leave?
The Bert Show.
So, first, thanks for watching. Second, you like what you just watched? That just scratches the surface. Get the Bert Show on any podcast platform. We're so good.